Yo, what's going on, guys? Doc Rivers is gone. So after a 97 and 103 record in a 3-season span, and they'll be eating the final year of Doc Rivers' 8-figure salary, is what I think the team showing that they're trying to do whatever they can to either keep Giannis or to find a coach that'll help them usher in the new era. So John Horst now starting his third coaching search in 3 years. Well, 3 years, 4 years, right? In 4 years? It'll be 4 years. Either way, his seat is going to be hot if he's not already going to be fired, and he'll have to nail this hire. We know that Darvin Ham is internal hiring that could be possible. James Borrego is a formerly interviewed candidate. So before we start or continue today's video, I want to hear your thoughts, opinions, and everything in between. What is your expectations for Mr. John Horst and the Milwaukee Bucks squad or front office to hire? By the way, do you think Giannis stays or not? And if not, do you think they go with a developmental coach? Very interesting stuff. And look, they can't afford to pull another hot, big name, old school guy off the free agents coach market, or just a guy who's a motivator. They need someone who's a tactician, a builder, a culture setter. And they need someone who's going to be able to help out their current squad. And I think they need someone who's going to be able to optimize the roster around Giannis Antetokounmpo if they're able to convince Giannis to stay and sign that massive extension. This head coach needs to understand how to run a modern offense, how to generate, the best and most efficient offenses in the half court. They need a front office that's going to be willing to understand that you need a mix of young and old players who will be able to dynamically fit against a variety of matchups. And defensively, I think they need to be better at the point of attack, have an actual identity on that side of the floor. John Horst conducted a huge, exhaustive search before landing on Adrian Griffin in 2023. And I think there's players that are coaches that could be already in consideration. Chris Quinn was someone, the Miami Heat lead assistant. He was extensively interviewed in 2023. He is Eric Spoelstra's right-hand man. And they have every single time that he made sure he's properly compensated and kept around. But I think he's always the guy who's coming out for plays for Eric Spoelstra. So I think him being a former player, understanding both sides of the ball, and being someone who could command respect from the locker room, as I mentioned earlier, being a former player is huge in that regards. So then you have, I don't know if this is possible, but I really don't think they would go with an old guy. So I know someone's be like, oh, they should bring Terry Stotts. He was, he was on the roster. I don't think that's happening. I think that was really because Damian Lillard was there and it was Kumbaya. Kevin Ollie was another guy that they interviewed. I just don't think he's going to be someone that they would bring in. I think James Borrego and Darvin Ham. Borrego is my favorite out of the guys. I think Taylor Jenkins needs to be addressed as an option. He's allegedly the hottest name on the market. But will they pull him off the Barbie and give a swing with a coach who's very innovative in his play design and does a good job of getting the most out of both guys? Now, any other players? I think Micah Nori, he's gained respect for being one of the architects in Minnesota's defense. He's a guy who meticulously breaks down film, understands matchups, got great quips in terms of sound bites. Jared Dudley's another guy. He's been an assistant around the league, and he's a former player. He has history in Milwaukee, universally respected around the league, and he had spent years being Jason Kidd's assistant. And I think right now, there's a lot of guys that could be going there. I want to say the Charlotte Hornets, the Boston Celtics, man, who else? Ooh, I think one of the other guys could end up being maybe a wild card. I think a wild card should be considered like is a wild card maybe going for someone from a squad that you're not, like the OKC Thunder, that we don't know, or somebody that people aren't expecting. There's a lot of guys from OKC that have been like heralded like last year. I remember it felt like there was a bunch of guys, but to me, I think the Sam Cassells of the world, the Frank Vogels should be avoided. Sean Sweeney's a defensive guy that been with the Dallas Mavericks for a while. He's someone that they could consider. I think also looking at maybe some of these other coaches, Johnny Bryant, he's been like credited a lot for Donovan Mitchell, and a lot of stars really like him. So to me, I think he's another guy that you want someone with like connections to players, I think, who they're going to trust and be relatable, either a guy who's a trainer or like a good player development coach, if you're going to go that route, if you're going to like tear down the roster. So those guys like Johnny Bryant could be useful if you believe that you want to tear it all down and find yourself his, the develop the roster after Giannis. So if you do that, you're going to want to find yourself a coach who's going to be able to set the culture that you expect to have and expect the accountability from your players. And that's why I think finding a guy who's able to do that will be huge. And this is why there's a wide range of these these coaching candidates. To me, I think that will they go with a guy who is outside of the box? And you guys think, I think one of the guys who should be considered an outside of the box hire is the Paris basketball coach. Well, I mean, there's multiple guys. I think, so there's Will Weaver was before Tomas Isalo. Now he's on Brisbane. I mean, he might want to stay in Brisbane, but he was last year with the Charlotte Hornets. And current Paris basketball head coach is Julius Thomas, who isn't super well known. Tomas Isalo and Tiago Splitter were both former Paris basketball coaches. And maybe Julius Thomas is another guy who ends up getting the opportunity to be a coach in the NBA after so many guys have come from Paris basketball. Maybe they take a swing at a Paris basketball or another overseas coach. What are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? And will they rebuild or not?